What happens when two of country music's biggest stars collide on live TV, and neither one is willing to back down? You're about to witness a conversation that spiraled into the most explosive moment in daytime talk show history. It started as a routine appearance. Blake Shelton was invited to the Clarkson show for a friendly chat. Two voice coaches, longtime collaborators, country icons. What could go wrong? Everything. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment, because what happened next was anything but scripted. The tension was already thick as Blake took his seat across from Kelly. The audience clapped, the cameras rolled, but something felt off from the start. "Blake, it's so great to have you here," Kelly said with her usual smile, but her tone carried a sharp edge. "I have to ask you about something that's been bugging me." Blake leaned back, relaxed, smirking. "Kelly, you know me. I can take whatever you've got. Fire away." She didn't hesitate. "In a recent Country Weekly interview, you said today's country artists don't have the same authenticity as older generations. That surprised me, coming from someone who spent years mentoring new talent on The Voice." The smirk on Blake's face faded. Just a little. "Look, I've always supported new artists, but being supportive doesn't mean I can't be honest about the direction of the genre." Kelly leaned in. "Right, but isn't it a little hypocritical? You've made millions launching careers for these so-called inauthentic artists, and now you're criticizing the very people you helped bring into the industry." The Blake's jaw tensed. "It's not hypocrisy, it's honesty. There's a big difference between genuine country music and what's being manufactured right now. And honestly, Kelly, you should know that better than most." "What's that supposed to mean?" she asked, her voice suddenly sharp. "You've crossed over from pop into country. You've seen both sides. You know there's a difference between tradition and trend." Kelly's smile dropped. "Are you implying that my country music isn't authentic, Blake?" Blake didn't flinch. "I'm not implying anything. I'm saying it. There's a difference between growing up in the tradition and stepping into it when it's profitable." The audience gasped. Kelly's eyes narrowed. "So you're seriously questioning my authenticity? On my show, I'm questioning how authentic it really is to wear the label country, just because it sells," Blake said, calm but cold. "Country music is a lifestyle, not a wardrobe. That's rich coming from someone with a mansion in Nashville and a career built on red carpet appearances." Kelly snapped. "You think living on a dirt road 20 years ago makes you the gatekeeper of country music?" Blake leaned forward. "It's about roots, Kelly. It's about respect. You don't just show up in a pair of boots and call yourself country. And you don't get to define what real country is." Kelly fired back. "That's the kind of gatekeeping that's held artists back for years." "It's not gatekeeping. It's preserving something that matters," Blake said, voice rising. "You can't just rebrand pop with a steel guitar and call it the same thing." Kelly stood, face flushed with anger. "Don't you dare question what I've built. I've poured my heart into this genre. I've been open about my journey, my struggles, my truth." Blake stood too, towering over her. "And I respect your journey. But that doesn't make your version of country music authentic. There's a difference between being honest and living it." Kelly let out a bitter laugh. "So what exactly is the country music experience, Blake? Owning a tractor? Writing songs about fields while living in a mansion? How country is that?" The room was dead quiet. "At least I didn't start out in pop and decide to play dress up as a country artist when it was convenient," Blake snapped. That was the breaking point. Kelly's expression shifted from angry to furious. Her voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "Get out!" "Kelly," Blake started, but she cut him off. "No. You want to come on this show and insult my career, my music, my integrity. Then you can leave now." Security appeared at the edge of the set. Blake stared at her, jaw clenched. Then he turned to the audience, tipped his hat with a forced half-smile, and walked off the stage without another word. The audience didn't applaud. They didn't move. They just sat there stunned, having witnessed a moment no one would forget. "What?" I said. My voice was ice. "Get out! Get off my show!" Now. Blake froze, staring at me like he couldn't believe what he'd just heard. "Kelly, come on," he said with a stiff laugh. "We're just having a conversation." "No, Blake, we're not," I snapped, cutting him off. "A conversation is respectful. This is you insulting me, questioning my integrity as an artist, and disrespecting both me and my audience. I'm only going to say it one more time, leave." The studio was stone silent. No music, no whispers, just the low mechanical hum of the camera still rolling. Blake looked around, at the audience, at the crew, then back at me. For a brief second, it looked like he might back down. Maybe apologize. He didn't. Instead, he let out a bitter chuckle that echoed across the stage. "You know what, Kelly? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't handle real criticism. The second someone pushes back, you throw a fit and kick them off your set. That's not very country of you." My eyes burned. "A tantrum," I said, slowly. "You come on my show and attack me, my music, and my career, and now you want to act like you're the victim." "I'm being honest," he said, folding his arms. "Something this industry's running low on. You asked a question, and I gave you a real answer. You just don't like it." "No, Blake. What I don't like is arrogance masquerading as honesty. There's a difference between being truthful and being cruel." "Cruel?" Blake scoffed, his voice rising. "Kelly, this is the real world. The music industry isn't all hand-holding and group hugs. People have opinions. Grow up. Don't you dare patronize me." I snapped, rising from my chair. "I've been in this industry longer than you. I know damn well what the real world looks like. Then why are you so surprised that someone's calling out the way country music's being watered down?" Blake shot back. "Someone has to protect the roots. Someone has to say when it's gone too far. And you decided you're the gatekeeper," I said, incredulous. "Who made you the judge of what's real and what's not?" "The fans did," he said without hesitation. "The ones who've been supporting real country for decades. The ones who can tell the difference between heartfelt storytelling and a pop tune with a banjo slapped on it." I shook my head in disbelief. "You're unbelievable. You sit here acting like some kind of purist. Meanwhile, you've spent years working with pop writers, cashing checks from mainstream radio, playing the same game as everyone else." "But I never pretended to be something I'm not," he said. "I've always been open about my roots, my background, my story. Can you say the same? Are you serious right now?" I snapped. "I've been more open than most artists in this business. I've talked about my struggles, my mental health, my doubts. I've never faked who I am." Blake leaned in. "But you've never lived it, Kelly. You've visited the country world, but you've never belonged to it." I was stunned. "And you get to decide that?" I demanded. "You get to decide who belongs in country music and who doesn't." "Experience decides that," he said coldly. "Living the life you sing about. Not researching it. Living it. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard," I snapped. By that logic, Johnny Cash shouldn't have sung about prison. And Dolly Parton should have stopped writing about poverty the moment she got rich. You don't need to live every word to write something real. You need empathy. You need heart. Those artists understood the culture," Blake said. "They didn't jump in from the outside just because it paid." My laugh was bitter and hollow. "So now I'm an outsider," I said quietly. "After all the collaborations, all the tours, all the songs, I'm still just a visitor in your eyes." Blake didn't answer. He didn't have to. That silence said it all. "You know what, Blake?" I said, my voice low but shaking. "This show isn't the place for your superiority complex. And country music sure as hell doesn't need your version of purity tests. I turned toward the crew. Get him out. Security moved in. Blake stared at me one last time, something hard in his eyes. You're proving my point, Kelly. You want country music to be whatever feels good. But it's supposed to mean something. Yeah, I said. It means something to everyone. Not just you. He didn't respond, just tipped his head slightly and walked off the stage. The audience sat frozen, no applause, no cheers, just shock. The clip would be replayed millions of times in the days that followed. 2 country icons, one brutal clash, and a line drawn in the sand. KLY. I've been embraced by country fans. They've shown up. They've supported me. But somehow in your mind, I'm still not legitimate. Because I didn't start there. Bilak, it's not about where you started, Kelly. It's about where your heart is. Whether you're doing it because you love it, or because it's profitable. KLY voice razor sharp, calm, and lethal. And you think you can judge my heart. Look, I can look at your career trajectory and draw some pretty obvious conclusions. KLY disbelief turning to fury. My career trajectory. Blake, I've taken risks. I've broken rules. I've evolved. That's what real artists do. That's what country music should be. Growth. Change storytelling that keeps moving forward. Okay, no, Kelly. Country music is about tradition. About honoring where it came from. Respecting the ones who paved the road before us. You don't get to tear all that down just to build something trendy. KLY's rising. You think I don't respect the past. You think I don't know what makes country music special. I've studied this genre. I've learned from the greats. I've paid my dues. And guess what? There's more than one road into country. You didn't invent it, Blake. Block. Paying your dues isn't the same as living the life. You can study the music all you want. That doesn't make you country. Oh, but growing up in Oklahoma automatically does. Please, I grew up in Texas. We're cut from the same cloth. Small town Sunday church. Hard work. Dreams bigger than the skyline. Don't pretend like I'm some outsider. Black Hat, it's not just geography, Kelly. It's culture. Values, the lifestyle. The truth behind the music. KLY pointed. You mean values like respect, kindness, lifting others up? Because I'm not seeing any of those from you right now. Blake pausing, then colder. Sometimes lifting others up means telling them the truth. Even when it's hard. Even when it stings. Kelly, no, Blake. Sometimes it means knowing when to support instead of tearing people down. Sometimes it means accepting that country music belongs to all of us, not just the ones who fit your narrow little box. Bilaki. There's room for anyone who respects what country music is, who understands it, who wants to honor it. Kelly, and who decides what that looks like. You? The so-called old guard. The people so afraid of change they'd rather freeze the genre in place than let it breathe. Buck! The people who know it's worth protecting, who understand that not everything needs to be reinvented to be meaningful. KLY is quietly disappointed. You know what, Blake? I feel sorry for you. I really do. You're so busy guarding some idealized version of country music, you can't see what actually makes it beautiful. Blake, and what's that? KLY, that it brings people together. That it tells real stories, all stories. Not just the ones that check your authenticity box. Country music is about heart and soul, not rules written in barbed wire. Bilaka scoffs, nice sentiment. But that's not the reality. Country music's always had standards. Expectations. When we throw those out to make room for everyone, we dilute the music, and we lose what makes it country. Kayla. No. The only thing getting diluted here is your ability to grow. You're so convinced you're protecting the genre, you don't realize you're strangling it. And the tension is thick now. No laughter, no audience rustle, just the silence of a room holding its breath. Hibalake, Kelly, spin it however you want. But the facts are the facts. The music's changed, and not for the better. These days it's more about being inclusive than being excellent. KLY's eyes wide. Stunned. You really believe that? Balake, I know that. The quality's gone down. The authenticity's gone. People are singing about lives they've never lived, struggles they've never faced. KLY, and you've lived every single word you've ever sung. Block it, I sing what I know, what I've seen, what's real. So anyone who doesn't match your exact background, your upbringing, your experience, they're fake. That's the standard. Because if it is, Blake, then almost every legend in country music history would fail your purity test. Blackie's a voice sharp. That's not the same thing, and you know it. Kella, I know. Blake, you just don't like that things have changed. You're clinging to some past version of country music that only ever included people like you. Balk. Because it meant something then. It had roots. KLY, it still means something. It still has roots. You just refuse to see the new branches growing. A long pause. The crowd silent. The camera's still rolling. KLY, you know what's sad, Blake? Balake, try me. KLY, you think you're defending country music. But really, you're just defending your place in it. Kelly's voice dropped to a near whisper. Dangerous. Controlled. So everything I've shared about my life, my struggles, my journey, you're calling that fake. Blake didn't hesitate. I'm saying your country music persona feels calculated. Like something built in a boardroom, not born from the heart. The audience gasped. Audible. Sharp. The tension hit like a thunderclap. Murmurs rippled through the studio. Kelly stood still, her face cycling from shock to fury in a matter of seconds. Get out, she said again. No emotion, no tremble. Right now, I want you off my set. Immediately. Blake blinked. He hadn't expected that. His cockiness faltered. Kelly, we're just talking. It's a conversation. No, Blake. It was a conversation. Now it's over. This stopped being professional the moment you attacked me. Not just my music, me. I wasn't attacking you personally, Blake said quickly. I was talking about your image, you're a proke. My music is personal, Blake. Kelly snapped. My art is my life. When you say it's fake, you're not critiquing a record. You're calling me fake, manipulative, dishonest. The Blake shifted, visibly uncomfortable. That's not what I meant. Then say what you meant, Kelly shot back. Because from where I'm standing, you came on my show and dismantled everything I've worked for. Piece by piece. Blake opened his mouth. Kelly raised her hand. Don't try to backpedal. I've heard enough. You've made your position crystal clear. You think I'm a pop star playing dress up, that I don't belong in country music, that my success is a problem for the genre, that I'm a symptom of what's wrong. Not a voice worth listening to. Blake tried to soften. I think you're taking this too personally. Too personally? Kelly's voice spiked. You told me on national television that my entire country career is calculated. How exactly should I take that? I was talking about the industry. You weren't. Kelly's voice was firm, sharp as broken glass. You were talking about me. You used me as your example of everything you claim to hate about modern country music. You questioned my authenticity, my motives, and my right to be here. Blake looked around the studio now. Reality catching up, cameras still rolling. Every word broadcast live. Maybe we should take a break, he said, voice low. Talk about this off camera. Kelly laughed bitterly. Oh, now you want to go off camera? After dragging me for 15 minutes in front of a live audience. After using my platform to question my credibility in front of millions. I didn't mean to humiliate you, Blake said. For the first time, genuine regret. But you did. Kelly's voice was calm. Cold. Final. You came here as a guest. And you used my show to tear me down. He didn't respond. He couldn't. Security, Kelly said, eyes locked on Blake. Please escort Mr. Shelton off the set. Kelly, come on, Blake said, his voice cracking slightly. This got out of hand. We don't need. Yes, we do, she said, unmoving, because I asked you to leave. Twice, and you refused. I told you this was over. You kept pushing. So now, I'm making sure you understand that I decide where the line is on my stage. Two security guards stepped into frame. Calm, professional, but ready. The audience held its breath, silent, stunned. "This is ridiculous," Blake muttered, grabbing his jacket. "You're blowing this way out of proportion." "No," Kelly said. "You made this a big deal the second you came on my show and disrespected me. I'm just finishing what you started." The guards flanked Blake but didn't touch him. The message was clear. "Sir, we need you to come with us," one said politely. Blake turned back, halfway to the exit. His voice was low but biting. "Country music deserves better than this." Kelly didn't hesitate. "You're right. It deserves better than gatekeepers who think they own it. Better than men who tear down women for daring to succeed on their own terms. It deserves better than you today, Blake." Blake stared at her, speechless, then turned and walked out. The cameras followed every step. He paused at the studio door, but said nothing. He left silence, a long, aching pause. Then Kelly turned to camera, eyes fierce, voice steady. "That was not how I expected today's show to go." The audience chuckled nervously, but listened. "But I'm glad you saw it. Because what you just witnessed is exactly the kind of thinking that holds country music back. Gatekeeping. Policing authenticity. Drawing lines around who gets to belong and who doesn't. Country music is about stories. About truth. About connecting with people where they are. Not where someone else thinks they should be." As she paused, took a deep breath. "It's not about geography or genre purity. It's about heart, about honesty, about the courage to be vulnerable." Kelly sat back down, still visibly shaken, but composed. "Thank you for watching. I know this wasn't what you tuned in for, but sometimes the most important conversations are the hardest ones to have. Let's all do better. For the music, and for each other." The camera held on her for a beat longer. Strong still, unapologetic, then cut to black. "What did you think of Blake's behavior? Was he standing for tradition, or just trying to shut someone out?" Drop your thoughts below. This conversation is far from over.